Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Imroz and I teach math at LGS. Um, as we all know, the current situation, what's going on, we all are striving hard that our students must not suffer due to this situation. So I've decided to go with teaching with a video. That's why I'm making this video. So I hope you understand everything, but if you don't, do let me know over the Edmodo, and I'll be happy to answer each and every question. Okay. So after chapter 14, the sets, we've done it. We were to start chapter 15, and we are left with two chapters only, chapter 15 and 17. So chapter 15 is about probability. So we're gonna start that chapter today, and I'll give you the introduction, the detailed introduction about probability, what probability is, and then we'll start over with the exercise 15A. I'll make you do some of the questions, and this is a very easy topic. You'll understand it very quickly. Okay, so do not panic. Just listen to my video carefully, and you can ask me any question if you have. So let's start with the topic then. Okay, guys, let's start with the word probability. It's introduction to probability. This is the first page of the chapter. Okay, this is introduction to probability. Now, as we all know, the word itself, the word probability in English, what does that mean? That means when you are not sure about something, when you predict something to happen or not. Okay, so when we start a chapter, that is, we often make statements in our daily lives that there is a 50-50 chance of our school winning the national inter-school basketball championship. And here you can always say that there is a 50-50 chance of class 8B winning the GSL or anything else. The key word is chance here. Okay. Next is I cannot predict whether I will obtain a 6 in my next roll of a die, or it will probably rain today. We use these words because we are not sure about something to happen. Okay. Now I'll give you some more examples. Like when you read this thinking time, there is a very good example of all the situations involved in probability. Okay, the following are some events which we may come across in our daily life. Okay, now event. Now there are so many keywords in this chapter which must be known. Okay, event. Whenever we call something to happen, we call it an event. For example, event A, the sun will rise from the west every day. Event B, your friend will win the lottery this year. These all are the events. Okay. Now, if we draw a line like this, and when we write something which which have a 50-50 chance to happen, we can scale this line into some parts. Okay, this this part shows the something to happen which is very certain, which is very obvious that will happen, or this extreme shows that this is impossible to happen. Okay, something which is not possible to happen, and this is 50-50 because we have a 50-50 chance of happening this particular event. And in between, as we move from 50-50 towards certain, we are going likely events. We are saying that something is more likely to happen. Or if we move to the left of 50-50, we are actually moving towards impossible. Something is unlikely to happen with any event. Okay. So these are the words we have written: impossible, unlikely, 50-50, likely, certain. So if we give these words numbers, we allot them numbers, we can say that we can measure something. We can measure the probability of an event happening uh, particularly. Okay. For example, if I ask you, what is the probability of event A happening. Now, event A is the sun will rise from the west every day. What probability that should have? Do you think it's certain? Do you think it's likely? Do you think it's 50-50? I think it's impossible because sun always rise from the east, right? This is how we have to take it. Or if we talk about something else, if we talk about that event E, babies drink milk every day. Now, this is an event which is a very certain event which will obviously happen because there is a child. My child drinks milk every day, so this is a certain event. So this will come here in this part. But if we talk about event D, it will rain in Pakistan at least once a year. This is very likely to happen because it's quite possible, it's quite certain that it's quite certain that it will rain in Pakistan at least once a year. Okay, and event C, for example, you obtain a tail when you toss a coin. Now, if you toss a coin, there are two possibilities, head or tail. So there is a 50-50 chance that I get a tail on my coin. Okay, so if you read the third step, if we give them the number, we make it a number line. Excuse me. We make it a number line. Impossible, I've allotted it 0, and certain I've allotted 1, and 50-50 I've allotted 0.5. So when we measure this probability that certain event will happen or not, it will occur or not, we can rate it in between 0 and 1, which means 0 is the least and 1 is the maximum. Okay, that is what probability is. So in our daily life, we use words such as unlikely, likely, certain to describe the chance of an event occurring. The measure, now this is the line, the most important line, the measure of chance which takes on values between 0 and 1 inclusive is known as probability. So what probability is? That when we measure the chance of occurring some event, that is probability. So we will learn about probability in this chapter. And the next is, before we go further on probability, there are some things which we need to know. The next big thing is sample space. Again, this is a very simple idea what sample space is. Sample space is actually the total number of possible outcomes whenever we are doing an experiment. For example, if I talk about an experiment tossing a coin, the possible outcomes are head or tail. Okay, if we roll a die, the possible outcomes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these are the possible outcomes, right? If we have cards from 11 to 20 in a box and I pick a card from the box, okay, what is the probability, what is the total possible, what are the total possible outcomes I can pick? It's 11 to 20, the numbers. Okay, and if I have a bag with the three balls which are white and two black balls, what are the possible outcomes I can get if I pick up ball from the bag randomly? So it may be two black balls and three white balls. Okay. Okay, we've read sample space. Now, what is the word outcome means? What does this word mean? Outcome means the result which we may get when we perform an experiment. Okay, the next thing, the next bold important words are fair or unbiased. Now, this is a word which is frequently used in probability. Fair means when something is when an experiment is done on the fair basis. For example, I have a circle and this is the center and I have a needle over here. Okay, and I divided this circle into two parts. This is green area, this is blue area, right? And I spin the circle, I spin the needle, and what is the probability that the needle is going to stop in green part or the blue part? Now, green area and blue area is equal. So there are two equally likely outcomes which may occur in this experiment. That means it is fair. It is an unbiased experiment. Okay. So, but if I have another circle, I have a needle in between. If I have the area which is this part is green, but this part is blue. Now I spin the needle. It is more likely that I'll get the a blue area where the needle stops. So this is called a biased experiment. Okay, when we are inclined towards something more. There's another word which is used, equally likely. Equally likely. Equally likely means it's more like fair. Okay, equally likely means that when something is happening, when something has the equal number of chances, like this, green and blue had the equal number of chances to occur. That is called equally likely. Now, the most important part, the formula to find the probability. Okay, whenever we are doing an experiment or anything, we are finding out the probability of an event. Single events, we'll talk about single events here only for the first part. Okay, if we want to find out the probability, we will write it like this: P, which means the probability, inside the bracket, the name of the event. The name of the event may be anything. For example, getting green or getting a blue ball. You'll write it in the bracket. Is equal to, the formula is number of favorable outcomes for an event divided by the total number of possible outcomes. Possible outcomes. That means the total possibilities that may occur. Now, for example, I'll give you an example now. I have a coin, okay, and I'm tossing it. What is the probability of getting ahead? Probability of getting ahead is, first of all, we'll write how many number of favorable outcomes are there. Favorable outcomes mean how many heads are there in the coin. There is only one head. And what are the total number of possible outcomes for a coin? Either it will be head or a tail. How many outcomes are possible? There are two outcomes are possible. So the probability of getting a head is 1 over 2. Okay. Now, for example, I have a bag in which there are two balls which are black and three balls which are yellow. If I ask you what is the probability that I pick a ball randomly from the bag, what is the probability that the ball will be yellow? So the number of favorable outcomes. Favorable means the probability of an event जो I am finding out. For example, yellow in this case. How many yellow balls are there? There are three balls, right? We'll write 3 over on the in the numerator, and the total number of possible outcomes, which is 10, we'll write it over here. So the probability of getting yellow ball is 3 over 10. That's it. Okay, guys, this is the most important page of the chapter because this box is the whole summary of the chapter. Okay. Excuse me. For any event E, the probability of E is less than or equal to 1 or greater than or equal to 0, which I have told you earlier, that probability of anything cannot exceed 1 or it cannot go less than 0, which means it cannot go negative or it will not be more than 1. Okay, so if the probability of any event is equal to 0, that means if and only if E is an impossible event. Something which is impossible to happen will have zero probability. That means it will never occur. For example, earlier we took the example of a sun rising from the west, which is impossible to happen. That's why the probability of sun rising from the west is zero. And probability of an event is equal to 1 if and only if E is a certain event. Certain means it will definitely occur. It will definitely occur. The example we took earlier was a baby who needs milk every day, who drinks milk every day. So baby will definitely drink milk every day. So the probability of baby drinking milk is 1. Now I'll explain one example. A card is drawn at random from a standard pack of 52. Sorry, I think this example is more appropriate. This is worked example number 3 on page number 428. Okay, this is more appropriate. A card is drawn at random from a box containing 12 cards numbered 1, 2, 3, and till 10, 12. Okay, so we have 12 cards in a box. So, and he has asked us find the probability of drawing a 7. Now, first part, we need to find out the probability of getting 7. Okay, so what will be the probability? See, how many 7s are there in the cards? There is one card of each number, right? So there is only one card which is 7. But there are total number of possible cards are 12 because there is a number written on each card. There are 12 cards and they are numbered 1 to 12. So there are 12 possible outcomes, total possible outcomes. So the probability of 7 becomes 1 over 12. Okay. Secondly, in second part, he has asked us the probability of getting an even number. Even number. Okay. So we'll write it like this. And now, even number. How many cards are there? There are cards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. First of all, you should count the even numbers in the cards because they are the favorable outcomes. Favorable means which we are finding the probability. So the even numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll write 6 in the numerator, and there are 12 cards. There are 12 numbers in total. So we'll write 12 over here. So when we simplify it, it will become 1 over 2. Probability of getting an even number is 1 over 2. In the third part, a perfect square. I hope you all know perfect squares. Perfect squares are numbers which comes when we multiply two same numbers like 1. 1 is a perfect square because 1 ones are 1. 4 is a perfect square because 2 2 is a 4. And 9 is a perfect square because 3 into 3 is 9. So how many perfect squares do we have? We have 3 perfect squares, and we'll write total outcomes which are 12. We'll write it like this. So the probability of a perfect square becomes 1 over 4 when we simplify it, right? So the fifth part is a negative number. Negative number. Now look at the numbers carefully. Do we have any negative number here? No. So it is an impossible event to occur. That's why probability of getting a negative number is 0. Simple. Okay. Last part is probability of getting a number less than 13. Less than 13. Now if you look at the numbers, all of the numbers are less than 13. So it's very certain that we'll get the number which is less than 13, which means it will have a probability 1. It will definitely occur. So the probability of less than 13 becomes 1. This is example number 1, page number 423. This should also be done because we need to do one example of sample space also. He has asked, a fair die is rolled, write down the sample space and state the total number of possible outcomes. Now, sample space, write down the sample space. When he asks you to write down the sample space, actually he is asking you to write down the possibilities which may occur when we roll a die. A die has the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 on its 6 spaces. So the sample space is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You'll write all of them. And he has asked us the total number of possible outcomes. The total number of possible outcomes becomes jitni sample space hai, the total number of possible outcomes will be that number. Okay. Okay, now I'm doing this practice now 5 and you'll understand everything now. So question number 1 is, a letter is chosen at random from the word children. Find the probability that the letter is a D. Okay, the letter is a D. Now how many letters are there in total? Just count them. Okay, there are 8 letters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So probability of getting a D will be, there is only one D, so we'll write 1 over here and over 8. That's it. Okay, second part is a consonant. Consonant, which letters are consonant? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 letters which are consonant, so the probability becomes 6 over 8, which means 3 over 4. Okay, so the third part is not a consonant. Not a consonant. Now this can be found in 2 ways. Either you do that, you can subtract this 3 over 4 from 1. Why? Because total probability of anything is 1. So there are only 2 cases. Either you'll pick a consonant or it will not be a consonant. So if the consonant has the probability 3 over 4, then not a consonant will have a probability of 1 minus 3 over 4, which will be 1 over 4. Okay. And the other way is to count the letters which are not consonants. For example, I and E. There are only 2 which are non-consonants. So we can write not consonant is equal to 2 over, what are the total number of letters? There are 8. So it will also be simplified to 1 over 4. So the probability of getting a non-consonant, it will be 1 over 4. Now the second question. A marble is drawn at random from a bag containing 9 red marbles, 6 yellow marbles, 4 purple marbles, and 5 blue marbles. Find the probability of drawing a purple marble. So first part is probability of purple marble. How many are there? Purple? 4. And how many are total? 9, 6, 15, 15 and 9, 24. So it will be 24. 4 over 24 is 1 over 6. So 1 over 6 is the probability of getting a purple marble. And in the second part, he has asked us red or blue. Now red or blue. The word is or, which means we have to count them together, red or blue. We have count them as 1. Okay. So red are 9 and blue are 5. In total, they are 14. And the total number of marbles are, so the probability of getting a red or blue becomes 7 over 12. In the next part, they have asked us to find the probability of white. Now there is no white ball, so it can never happen. It is impossible to get white ball. So the probability of getting a white ball is 0. And the probability of getting not white, all the balls are not white. So the probability of getting not white, because it is a certain event, it will definitely occur. It will have the probability of 1. In question number 3, there is a box containing 24 balls. They have not written the number of red, green, or blue balls. Okay, but they have given us the probability of red and green ball at random. So the probability of getting a red ball is 1 over 3, and probability of getting a green ball is 1 over 6. There are 24 balls, red, green, and blue. They have asked us to find the number of blue balls in the bag. Now, I just want to make one thing clear. When we were to find the probability of red balls, this is the probability given. But this is the simplified form, which means if you just ignore this part, and if I ask you to find the probability of red balls, what will be the denominator? Denominator will be the total number of balls in the bag, which is 24, which is already given in the question. So this is 24. Now, this 24 has been simplified to 3, which means it must have been multiplied to 8 so that the denominator becomes 24. And if we multiply this with 8, we will also multiply this with numerator with 8 also. So the probability becomes 8 over 24. Same is the case with the green. 24 is the total number of balls in the bag. So in the denominator we should have 24. Now here it is written 6, which means it has been simplified to 6, which means it must be multiplied to 4 so that I get 24. Same is the case with the numerator. I should multiply it with 4 so that I get 4 over here, which means that number of red balls are 8, which is this case. We have red 8 balls out of 24, and we have 4 green balls out of 24. Okay, green balls are 4. So the blue balls will be 24 minus 8 minus 4. The remaining will be the blue balls. This is the way how you do the last question. Okay, now you must be able to do exercise 15A, all of the questions on your notebooks, and if you find any difficulty, in basic level question, basic level should be done. They are very easy. Intermediate level, you may face some problems, but if you listen to the video carefully, you can easily do it. Okay, do all the parts of basic level questions and intermediate level questions. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.